Hello, and welcome to USA Archery's coverage of the 2024 AAE Arizona Cup. Brought to you by Verona Real Estate Group and DataCore Fund Services, and presented by Win & Win. It's great to have your company on a cool afternoon here in Phoenix, Arizona, in the United States of America. My name is George Tekmenchov. Alongside me, I am joined by United States Paralympian Eric Bennett. And between us, we'll take you through all the gold medal matches in the senior divisions in compound, barebow, and recurve. We are about to get underway with the compound matches, but look forward now to what we have coming up. Lots of matches this afternoon, Eric, and we've got some of the best shooters in the world in the men's compound category match coming up soon. But our first match for this afternoon is going to be Abigail Winterton and Olivia Dean. Abigail was one of my co-commentators last year at the SoCal Shootout down in Chula Vista.
Oh, that's great to hear. I actually don't really know Abigail very well. I've seen her shoot. She obviously shot some pretty good scores here this week.
Yeah.
And
well-accomplished shooter at the age of 19, and her opponent, Olivia Dean, who had a fantastic start to the year so far. Las Vegas champion, and she's done quite a bit else besides that, world youth medalist. And so we expect to see a pretty good match starting out here in just a few moments. And our director of shooting is about to introduce this.
Welcome to sunny Arizona. We're going to begin the gold medal matches for the 2024 Arizona Cup Championships. First up, we will have the compound women. I'd like to have the coaches come into the venue. Next, we have our judge for the match, Jim Flores, accompanying our two archers. We have Abigail Winterton, ranked number 8, and Olivia Dean, ranked number 2.
And those rankings are from the qualifying round here in the Arizona Cup earlier this week.
both of these women shot great scores in the eliminations leading into this match.
Yeah, the conditions were certainly a little better, Eric.
Abigail is on the right, Olivia on the left.
So as we speak right now, Eric, we've got ourselves a little bit of a breeze. It's coming in from east to west at this venue. And, you know, oftentimes here in Arizona, the wind comes from the same direction as where the sun is in the sky.
Yeah, it's usually, especially in the afternoon, too. It's definitely windy here.
Yeah. Looks like Olivia is going to be shooting first on target number 2 as she gets underway. Every one of these shooters is actually shooting this finals venue cold. They did not have a familiarization session, so partly, I think, on your mind, what do you think? I would be worried about my sight mark. Make sure that's on.
I would think just especially high and low.
Yeah, try to get as good a shot as you can. You're dealing with the wind conditions, of course. There's a liner 10-9.
10.
A little bit on the high side.
Yep, spotters say that's a 10. That could be called out if the judges take a really close look. It's close. And over on target number 1, we've got ourselves an 8 to start the match. Now remember that the scores that you hear are unofficial until the judges actually get to the target.
X.
Second shot is on the X-ring line at about 11:30.
Olivia had great shot process there. She looks...
The timing looked pretty good, didn't it?
9.
And a 9. It's taking Abigail just a little more time to dial herself in. You don't have much forgiveness in the compound category. You only have 15 arrows to work with, and if you fall behind too far at the beginning, it's almost over at that point. There's an X.
X.
Great start. For
Yeah,
Olivia.
really solid start. No question. Abigail finishing with a 9, so she's got herself a hole to dig herself out of, Eric.
Yeah, it's interesting that Olivia's first shots were a little bit high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Abigail's were a little bit low. Abigail's still making adjustments to her sight, so we'll see what it looks like on this next end.
Looking at this as a competitor, if you find yourself in a situation like this, what's on your mind? What are you going to try to do?
Well, if I'm in Olivia's position, I feel really confident about the way I just shot, so I'm going to maintain that hopefully into the next end.
Yeah.
If I'm Abigail, I want to make sure this next shot is either at X level or even a little bit higher.
To give herself a little bit of confidence.
I can't keep losing them out the bottom.
Yeah. I'm not seeing much interaction between Abigail's coach and herself, and we are seeing lots of interaction right now between Olivia and her coach. So, you know, that's another dynamic that's quite important. The coach has just as much of a role in this, don't they?
Yeah, well, as young as Olivia is, she's got a lot of really high-level competition experience underneath her belt.
Absolutely.
And Abigail doesn't look quite as comfortable. We'll see how she goes.
Yeah. Okay, as the judges are racking up the scores, the flip charts under the targets are showing the official call, and we're looking at a 26 for Abigail. We've got a clean score to start for Olivia. So a 4-point deficit, hard to overcome, but not impossible.
No, definitely not, especially with these conditions.
Yeah, that's a good point, because as the gusting winds are coming into the venue, remember yesterday we had really wonderful weather.
Yeah, it's getting actually cloudier too as we go too.
Yeah, flat light can help a recurve shooter. I don't know if it's such a great thing for compound. It all depends upon situation like your peep sight size, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay, second end, Abigail is behind by 4 points. She will shoot first. The lower scoring archer always shoots first as we alternate. Abigail opening. Oh, that's not what she wanted. That's a 7 out the side there.
Yeah, with the 20-second shot clock, the gust picked up, and I don't think she had much time to really
Didn't have time to correct
that.
with the float. Yeah, one thing that's for sure when you're, and there's an 8, that's unusual.
8.
There's no question there. Yeah, look at that. The wind has shifted, hasn't it?
It has quite a bit.
Big impact on your float with a compound bow. Remember, you're only holding maybe 18, 20 pounds. Us recurve shooters, we're holding the full weight, and sometimes that can be really helpful from simply a mechanical leverage point of view.
10.
And
like a good recovery shot.
They're calling that a 10. That's on the line. That might not actually be a 10. We'll see when the judges get to it.
X.
There's our first 10 from Abigail.
Just barely caught the top of the X ring on that one.
Yeah.
Well, like we were saying, though, you know, when the conditions are the way they are right now, things could shift around a little bit. We're going to see, we're not going to see a difference at this second end, but with 9 arrows to go, a lot can still happen.
Olivia with their final shot here.
And there's an X, a 10, actually.
Good way to come back.
Yeah, that's a good comeback indeed.
So
Olivia, who has a lot of experience shooting at this level, she is dominating the match so far.
For sure, and she's had, in her elimination matches leading up to this, she's shot really high scores in these conditions, so she looks confident.
Yeah, in fact,
Abigail's created quite a hole for herself.
Yeah, that's unfortunately true. However, sometimes you can take this as a learning experience. Hey, silver medal at this event, not a bad thing.
Absolutely, and these types of matches that you're having in the venue with everybody watching and it's being broadcast, those, you got to do them to get the experience so that you can do them better when it counts. So it's only going to benefit her in the long run.
For decades, the Arizona Cup has always been sort of seen as the unofficial open of the outdoor season worldwide. We used to have archers come here from Nordic countries, for example. They'd come out for a month in advance to train, especially when it was at the Arizona State University campus. We still have a substantial international turnout. We have archers here from Mexico, from Canada, also from Denmark, and from Netherlands this year.
Yeah.
It's not quite what it used to be when we had the entire Swedish team here and teams of that sort, but I'll tell you.
There were a couple years where it was a Paralympic qualifier, and we had Paralympic teams here from Japan, from Great Britain, from all over the world as well.
Yeah, I've met lots of Paralympians in the past at the Arizona Cup while I was shooting here as a competitor in the regular competition, and I can tell you, it's the same from the standpoint of being a great opportunity to start your season, because generally the weather has generally been cooperative. Now, typically it's always windy here, but it's generally about 20 degrees warmer than it is right now.
I mean, it was 20 degrees warmer yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Substantial change. And of course, that's part of the reason why it's windy right now. Okay, we've got a 6-point differential in favor of Olivia on target number 2. Abigail shooting first on target number 1. Left-hand side of your screen. Ten 9 liner.
She looked surprised on that shot, but it went right in the middle. So
Well, you know, I think that
Wind's really gusting.
that's really the
here.
factor. And it's going to be the factor for the rest of the afternoon for every category. There's a 10, and you know, it's interesting. They're both shooting out the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
You're looking at a situation where there was certainly a bit of a push. Abigail with a good shot.
9.
It is just out, but you know, her 2 arrows are less than a centimeter apart.
Yeah, the windsock midway down the field here is sticking straight out.
Oh, that is a 7, and that
7.
underscores what we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. This match is definitely not over.
A 10 right now would apply some pressure. And that's an 8. It's out the downwind side, so you know, I think it's perfect height. It's just out the right side, right where the wind pushed it.
It really is picked up quite a bit just in this last few minutes.
And there's an 8.
Okay.
So things have become interesting with 6 shots to go.
So Abigail picked up a few points there.
Yep, no doubt about it. Closing the gap. Question is, will that apply pressure to the experienced Olivia? She looks just as relaxed as she did when she started, to be honest with you.
She sure does.
You got to remember how young both of these ladies are. You know, 19 years old for Abigail and 17 years old for Olivia. That's remarkable. Think about it. You know, here they are. I mean, the likes of Paige Pierce competing at this event.
Yeah.
You know, super experienced competitors from around the country and around the world, and these two are the ones on the finals field. Great accomplishment.
It really speaks volumes to their ability and their skill and talent, but also their confidence to be able to shoot well in conditions that were less than ideal today.
Yeah.
Looks like Abigail has made up a few points, but is still trailing at the moment by 4.
So four points with 6 to go. We'll see how much this swings on the next 3 arrows.
Exactly. And as we've seen, you know, with these gusty conditions pushing the, it doesn't just push the arrow around, it's pushing the shooter around.
Yeah, for me, I feel like that's my biggest disadvantage in the wind is not necessarily the wind drift. I can account for that, but it's when I'm being pushed while I'm trying to execute.
Abigail Winterton on target number 1. And there's an X.
Shot.
X.
I look very confident.
This will be a critical shot right now. This will help decide some more of the momentum of the rest of this match with 5 shots to go after this next one. And it's an 8. Cuts the gap by half.
Absolutely. Yeah, that looked like it really surprised Olivia too. Interesting because the wind actually lulled there a little bit.
It did. And there's a dead center X, took out the spider.
X.
Abigail's really settled in.
We could be witnessing a reversal here. It's very possible. You know, the wind always has there's a 10.
10.
It's on the downwind side, but she hooked it in. Wind has a rhythm, and in this case, there's a 10.
9.
So we have a 10, 10, 9 on those first 3 arrows.
This is the second time they've had an issue with the clock.
Yes, I noticed that.
Swinging back over to
That's not
Olivia.
great for the mental flow of the shooter.
Yeah, that's definitely going to play with you a little bit.
No doubt.
Big shot here from Olivia.
It's actually the wrong clock that's up right now. And top of the 9 ring.
9.
I can't see, you have the scope. Did that catch?
It caught the 9, but it's very interesting.
So
as the gap is narrowing, how will they react?
Abigail sure looked like she found her groove that one. So
No
we'll
doubt.
see how that plays out in the last 3 arrows.
Yep. So let's update the unofficial score as we get the next numbers here, because it just been brought to my attention that we don't actually have it showing on the screen. So I'll make sure I get that information to you folks a little more regularly here. As of right now, we're looking at 108 points on the board for Abigail. And we're just waiting for the score update for Olivia. And it's a 2-point advantage for Olivia. It's down to 2 points, 3 shots to go, Eric.
Yep.
This is when the adrenaline starts to flow.
For sure. So Abigail cut 2 points just on that one end. Can she do it again?
She was as far back as 6. She's made up at least 4. Now she has this great opportunity. Will we have proven to be prophetic? Will we see a reversal? We'll find out in the next 3 shots.
The thing I like about the best is going into this is she's shooting first too, which I think with this wind is
could be a big advantage. What I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about the rhythm there, Eric, is I felt like maybe Abigail was getting a little bit of a break, and there is a upwind 9. Her height is perfect.
It is, yeah.
And there's a 9.
Okay.
2 arrows to go, 2-point separation. What do you think? Shoot off?
I hope so.
I hope so too. Right on top of that first shot there, double 9s. They're less than a centimeter apart.
Yeah.
It's a well shot arrow, but I think she's overcompensating for the wind on that. Now this one's critical. And that's a 9.
All right, well.
It's coming down to the last shot.
Abigail's going to definitely need to put a 10 right here.
She needs a 10,
pressure.
absolutely. And that's a 9. It's on the downwind side.
So Olivia just needs to hold gold.
Yep, anything in the gold, and it's all hers. Here she goes, and
there
it's a 10. There is victory for Olivia Dean.
Hey, hats off to Abigail for making that match
Well, I'll tell you what, she certainly recovered and brought a very admirable performance.
For sure. She can take those last 3 ends she just shot, build off of that, take the silver medal, and she's got a bright future.
Absolutely. That was a hard-won silver medal as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
That looked as good as it gets. By the time they got down to those last 6 arrows, it was, honestly, it was still in play. And hats off to Olivia for keeping her cool and delivering what she needed at the very end there.
Absolutely. Nothing like winning on a solid 10.
Now, coming up next, we've got a live interview with our champion now that the scores are confirmed. And first, though, we've got the Olympic trials that have been going on this week.
Yeah.
And that includes stage 3, which has been spread over 2 days period. We had Tuesday and Wednesday here in Arizona. On Wednesday, the field for the men and the women was cut to the final 8. Now, America's Casey Kaufhold is the leader in the women's category, and she's been talking to USA Archery's Richard Fleming.
Days actually have been some of the most calm shooting days I've had in a while. I think coming into it, like I knew I had to shoot some really good rounds if I wanted to build a comfortable lead, and the first day I came out with a 677, and I think that was enough to really kind of separate myself a little bit. And so through the round robin matches, like I felt really comfortable, and even though like I have that lead, like I'm looking to keep building on it, you know, like I don't want to like take down the intensity at all, because I know that opens the door. So I'm just trying to stay focused and keep my intensity there. I think it's easier to be chase than to chase. I just love that feeling of you know, leading the pack, and some people see it as scary, but I like having that motivation. And like some of these girls are shooting really good, and so I still have to keep my mind focused and know that there are people coming for me, but stay focused in my bubble.
Let's face it, the conditions have been a little tough out here, haven't they?
Yeah, they're some of the most confusing winds I've ever shot in, for sure. They do switch a lot, and it was hard for me to kind of feel which direction they were blowing, but I feel like I handled it the best I could.
Well, Eric and I were commentating when we were watching what was, how this developed, and one thing we noticed was you had a great interchange with your coach.
Yeah,
What were they offering you?
Yeah, I just like to talk to my coach Heather between ends, like to distract myself from like the scores and like what's going on, just to try and relieve some pressure. So we were kind of talking about things that had nothing to do with archery, so it was helpful for sure. Yeah.
Really useful sometimes.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, Olivia, congratulations. This has been a fantastic start to the year for you. Indoors, you started out great.
Yeah.
Now you're outdoors. What are your goals for the rest of the season?
Well, I have the Pan American Championships actually next weekend. I'm leaving this Monday, so hopefully I'm just going to keep the ball rolling and continue my shooting into that.
Well, let's hope you get some nice warm weather in Columbia.
Yeah, hopefully a lot better than this.
All right, Olivia, thank you very much, and congratulations again for your great gold medal victory here at the Arizona Cup 2024. Well, it was a delightful interview with Olivia. She is such a nice young lady, and looking forward to seeing her performance in Columbia later this week as we have that large event going on.
Yeah, so it will be fun to watch her shoot. She's a great lady and great shooter, and she proved that she's a great shooter just now with her gold medal. That's
So,
awesome.
you know, we just saw a glimpse maybe of the future of women's compound archery, but what we're about to experience is something that many of us have seen before. Two of literally the greatest competitors at the men's compound category that you could possibly ask for. We have the Vegas champion of 2024, Matthias Fullerton, and we have the man who has been world ranked #1 longer than anyone else alive, the incredible man from the Netherlands, Mikey Schlusser.
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've known Mikey for a long time, and he's a great guy. Had dinner with him before, and then I'm one of probably a few people that have actually got to meet his parents. So
That is a rare thing, yeah.
Yeah, we had the archery world para championships in the Netherlands in 2019, and his parents came down and watched us shoot, and then watched the World Cup event or the World Championships that took place
Great.
afterwards. But I got to meet him, and it was great.
You know, we've got, with Matthias having come on the scene in the last 18 months in a big way, the archer from Denmark has really made his mark. In Nîmes earlier this year, you could argue that he was deservedly somebody that possibly should have been able to have won that thing because of the fact that he was clean the whole way through, and it was just distance from center that took him out.
Yeah.
Mikey has had his share of victory and his share of, you know, his much smaller share of defeat, sometimes in similar circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, for many years, Mike was somebody who we were a little bit concerned about when he'd get to that last arrow. And sometimes it was because of conditions just like this. So we're about to see, I think, what's going to be an epic match.
Absolutely. I'm super excited.
Okay, we're about to get started. Here's the men's compound gold medal final.
We are now going to move into our second match of the afternoon. This is the compound men. I'd like to ask the coaches to come on stage. And now we have our judge, Jim Flores, who's leading in our competitors. On target number 1, ranked 5th, Mike Schlosser.
Ranked 5th at the Arizona Cup, but ranked #1 in the world.
Ranked 3rd, Matthias Fullerton.
Matthias Fullerton, of course, the Vegas champion of 2024.
Matthias has chosen
Matthias
to
is
shoot
someone that I've been
first.
watching, you know, closely excel through the ranks over the last year or so, but I haven't actually met him in person.
Oh,
so
he's
it's fun
actually a
to-
really
fun-
nice kid.
Fun
He's
to watch
really
him
a
shoot
great
in
guy.
person. And,
Actually, you know, that's the thing. Both of these are really great guys.
yeah,
You can root for each of them, and it's hard to pick a favorite.
I'm excited for this match.
Absolutely. Okay, looks like Matthias is going to be shooting first. Let's see how these gentlemen handle these conditions, shooting this venue for the first time in this particular layout for the finals. And there's a 10. It's on the line.
10.
It's on the downwind side.
Downwind side for sure, yep.
And a quick shot from Mike. It is on the upwind side, 9 at about 11 o'clock. And that's just out.
That is a 10-9 liner.
I'm calling it a 9 from here. We'll see what the judges have to say. Mike can tie things up with a 10.
10.
And there it is. Matthias. And there's another liner. That one looks like it might be in.
10-9 liner.
Had a funny kick as it hit. The wind has calmed down, I think. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, for sure. Didn't see either one of them make any adjustments to their sights, but they figured out what the wind was going to look like. Matthias, unfortunately, still got those two kind of funny kicked ones out to the side there.
Unofficially a pair of 29s at the moment. We'll see what the judges have to say. It's really it's Matthias's second shot that might be questionable. We'll see what happens with that call. A lot going on in Phoenix, Arizona this weekend. As a local resident, what's the impact of the Final Four that's going on right now?
So funny that you should mention that. I mean, it is a big event. I think most of the hotels downtown are pretty full, and then all of the hotels out in Glendale, where the venue is, are full. So we're happy to have the Final Four here, and I was downtown last week and saw all the signage and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Well, you know, the Arizona Cup's a pretty big deal too.
It is. Absolutely. Absolutely
not
big
quite
deal.
the final, not quite the Final Four, but it's up there. As we were talking about earlier, though, this is really the unofficial start of the outdoor season for so many people from around the world. And next from here, besides the event in Columbia that a lot of the USA Archers are going to, I think a lot of folks' minds are turning toward World Cup and the inaugural World Cup that will take place in Shanghai for this year. That's coming up soon. And also the World Cup that will be taking place in Korea in the month of May. And those two are going to be pivotal. They're very important from the standpoint of certain teams developing some momentum for the Paris Games.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, the scores are official and on the board, and they stand as we call them at 29 points each as we go back to the original shooting order. It's Matthias Fullerton of Denmark shooting first on target number 2.
Winds calmed down quite a bit.
Yes, they have. They gentlemen are getting a bit of a break here. I'm not going to tell you that it's perfect, but it's pretty good. We are looking at a 10 rather on that shot. It's just on the top of the X ring. Just out of the X, I think. And Mikey with an X for sure. Both of those guys have their arrows within about 2 millimeters if you'd superpose those targets on top of each other.
Great place to be, right at the top of the X. Like
absolutely. And there's a dead center X.
X.
All right, now they're bringing it. This is what we've come to expect from these two. And they've duplicated each other so far.
Arrow for arrow.
Oh, this is awesome.
Little wind pickup.
Yes, it just picked up quite a bit. About a 10-mile-an-hour increase. Didn't affect Matthias very much at all.
No.
Bottom of the 10 ring. Well inside. Can Mike match it? Yes, he can.
Absolutely.
Also a 10 out of the X ring, but you know what?
Yeah. Two
we are
pair
seeing
of 30s like that.
Closer than that.
After a pair of 29s.
We are seeing
What a
these guys
match.
go hammer and tong. They're each 1 point down from perfect score so far. We're looking at a 59 each.
Then Matthias will
Wonder how many
continue
times,
to be
and maybe
first
you
on
would
this
know,
next
George,
end.
how many times have they met and faced each other?
I've lost count. It's been, if you count European events, it's got to be on the order of 6 times, I believe.
Okay. I would imagine there's many more in the future.
Oh, yeah,
So.
no doubt about it. And, you know, both of these gentlemen, I mean, Mike is sort of a force of nature himself, right? Who is going to be the next Mike Schlusser is something that, you know, we need to consider, because right now nobody has done what he's been able to do. First man to shoot a perfect score in world archery competition.
Yep.
Longest ever world #1 ranked man. But
that's incredible.
But if I had a short list of who could succeed him in the future,
Yeah.
it's the guy standing next to him.
Matthias.
It's Matthias.
He sure looks good today.
Yeah. And Matthias, of course, is I mean, he does 2 things. He does archery and video games. That's his thing. He's very much a modern guy.
My son does one of those things.
Back in action with a tied score, and we go back to the original shooting order. Matthias, 20 seconds on the clock, 59 points each. And that is just out. There's an opportunity for Mike.
9.
Mike, shooting a 10, would apply some pressure now. There it is. In fact, it's in the same hole as his previous 10 that he shot, the last arrow that he shot on the previous end.
Previous end.
So he's clearly dialed in. You notice the wind just died. And there's a 10.
X.
Matthias's 9 is just out on the windward side, but
on the downwind side, yeah.
yeah.
But the wind really just dropped out. It really dropped out. And there's a 9. We're back to
Back
a
to
tie.
tied.
Back to a tie. And there's a 10.
10.
So Mike, a 10 is what he's going to want to keep the tie going. Oh, that is not what he wanted.
9.
That is a 9 at 4 o'clock, and it gives Matthias the advantage. A 1-point advantage at the moment. As we score this, it's going to be Mike shooting first on the next end.
So Matthias takes a 1-point lead with 6 to go.
6 arrows to go. We've shot a total of 6 arrows. And, sorry, we've shot a total of 9 arrows.
We've scored 6.
We've scored 6.
Yeah. But the wind's down right now, but it has been cycling all day. So what's it going to look like on those last 3 arrows?
It follows the cycle we've seen today. I think you're implying it's going to come roaring through pretty soon, and
Yeah.
I believe you're right, knowing what I know about this field.
Looks like Matthias has
Cloud
picked
cover
up
has gotten
1
thicker.
point,
Light has become flatter.
and that means Mike will be starting this end.
All right, score is confirmed and on the board. It's 88 points for Matthias Fullerton, 87 points for Mike Schlusser. Mike will be shooting first on target #1, finding himself in the unaccustomed position of being behind by a point. Matthias Fullerton, of course, the champion of the Outdoor World Cup season last year with a tremendous victory in Mexico. Mike Schlusser, there. Master class on how to shoot in the wind. "10-9 liner."
9.
on the downwind side.
Yep. And a interesting tear in the paper indicating the arrow was being pushed as it was. And a 9 on the upwind side.
Too much for Matthias.
Yep, he gave it just a little too much bubble.
I even felt a couple sprinkles just now.
Yeah.
We might be in for a little treat here.
Well, there's some Virga off in the horizon there. Oh, that is not what I expected to see.
How often do you see that?
Almost never.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw Mike Schlusser shoot an 8 in any circumstances. But these circumstances are the kind that will lend themselves to it. We have a gusty draft of wind. There's another 9. Both of these guys. Now, look, it wouldn't be fair to say the wheels are coming off, but,
No, for sure.
but these conditions are not doing them any favors right now. And there's a 10.
He definitely needed that.
Yeah, for sure. 3 arrows to go to complete this match for Mike, and 4 arrows to go, including this one right here. And there's a 9. And guess what?
Yeah.
We have a tie with 3 arrows to go. All right, what do you think? Shoot off?
Of course, well, that's what we want, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I want to see it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the wind did cycle back up a little sooner than I expected.
It did.
But I don't think it's any worse right now than it was for the girls.
It did it as you predicted, though.
Yeah.
It just came in maybe just a bit sooner than we expected, to your point, but you'll notice that temperature has dropped a bit as well. I think we probably lost about a degree Fahrenheit or 2 in the last 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I would say that the combination of those things, combined with the terrain around us, we have a very flat plain off to our east. We have a mountain to our west.
Yep.
It creates local environmental conditions that are unique to this particular spot that we're shooting at. If you were to go 2 kilometers to the east, it would be different, wouldn't it?
100%. In fact, I've shot 2 kilometers to the east from here, and the wind is almost non-existent. The little mountain behind us definitely plays a big part in that. Creates this little local weather anomaly.
I shot the U.S. Field Nationals here, finished 2nd place to Jay Bars, as most people end up doing. and I can say that the weather, even up on that mountain, has its own unique characteristics, including dust devils.
Absolutely. That's one of our favorite things here.
Yeah, well, you get plenty of them. And it's remarkable. They're like mini tornadoes. They're quite powerful. Okay,
Good
Mike
opening shot from
with
Mike.
a 10, and that was an important shot. Mike is setting the tone. And Matthias picked it up. He put his arrow right. Again, if you took those 2 papers and put them on top of each other, those arrows would be right on top of each other. Interesting, the official score is showing a 1-point lead for Matthias. We missed that. Sorry about that.
Looked like another 10.
That is a 10.
9-10 liner.
I think that's it. Matthias could close the door with the next 2 arrows, of course. And that's a 9.
9.
All tied up with 2 to go, based on depending on an arrow call.
Yes.
Or with 1 to go.
Okay, we're looking at, actually that looks like a 10.
Matthias needs this.
Yes, he does. Let's see what happens.
Got
Okay,
it.
what did we say about a shoot-off
I
earlier?
think it's coming. I think it's coming. We're going to see it.
I think we'll see a shoot-off.
Yep.
Let's wait for the judges to make their call. I'm reasonably confident that Mike caught that 10 ring with that arrow that I called, but we'll see in just a moment. But chance of a shoot-off is
We may not.
certainly there.
This may go to a 1-arrow shoot-off.
I bet you that if I'm Diane Tone, the DOS, I'm setting my clock for a 20-second shoot-off. We'll find out in a moment here.
Yeah.
Lots more action still ahead, Eric. We've got, I'm just gonna say it. We've got perhaps the most interesting category, especially in weather like this, coming up in just a few minutes. And that's the most unique group in our sport today.
I got to participate with that group last year indoors, and it was a blast.
What
So
we're talking about here is barebow.
I may get to do it again. We'll see.
We'll have a few things to say. Oh, well, I'll put it this way. Eric will have a few things to say about that. I am relatively ignorant when it comes to barebow.
So this is an awesome treat here. I don't get to commentate very often, but I definitely don't get to see 1-arrow shoot-offs between archery titans very often either. So
You don't get to see that, and you don't get to see it in these really interesting conditions.
Yep, I got a front row seat here.
Okay, well, with the shoot-off, we'll go back to the original shooting order. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Matthias shooting first on target 2, and then Mike will get his shot.
When you were competing, George, what did you, in a situation like this, would you prefer to shoot first or second?
I like to shoot first and let them see it.
Same.
You know, in those situations where I've had simultaneous, timing, I always try to get that arrow off first.
Yeah.
I don't want to because you're going to hear the announcement, you're going to know from the crowd. I don't want to have to deal with that extra pressure. I already got enough. So my personal preference is strike first. And strike hard.
So let's see if Matthias can do it.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you he can.
Yeah, for sure.
But there is the environmental factor here, and that's certainly going to be, as much as anything else, the deciding factor. And just as the whistle blew, guess what started? The wind started coming up, and it's becoming a tailwind. And he doesn't have much time to mess around with this. He's got down to 15, 14, 13 seconds. 10 seconds. Oh, it's a 9. This is the door open for Mike.
Overcompensation for the wind on that.
Yep. But it turned to a tailwind, Eric.
It did.
It didn't push from the side. It pushed from the back. Note the windsock. Mike Schlusser has shot a 9.
We got a pair of 9s.
Both of them have a 9. Both of them are very close to the same distance from the center. If I'm pulling out a caliper, I'm going to tell you that Matthias Fullerton just shot about 2 millimeters, 1.5 to 2 millimeters closer to center, but yes, I think I'm correct. I think Matthias Fullerton just took it by 1.5 millimeters.
Wow. Who would have guessed that it would come to a pair of 9s?
But I'm not down there with a caliper. The judge is. So let's see what happens. There are times when we've seen it this close, they've actually had them do it again. Matthias is getting the high sign. But this is so close. Wait for the judge's call here. You'll see the fellow down there in the orange shirt raise his arm to the winner. That judge is definitely making sure, as they should. Here comes the call. And it is Matthias Fullerton by about a 1 millimeter victory.
Matthias Fullerton, congratulations.
Matthias Fullerton. Hey, it came down to a shoot-off.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect them to both shoot 9s. We got that measurement, though. It was about 1.5 millimeters, and in just a few moments, we are going to be talking to Matthias Fullerton. But before we do that, we're going to have one of those breaking the fourth wall moments, because live interview coming up with Matthias, but know that this week has seen stage 1 of 3 of something very important to you, Eric, the Paralympic trials qualification.
Yes.
Now, you're on top of the Recurve men's open category after stage 1. And, you've been to 4 Paralympic games. We know you're eager to get to a 5th one.
Yeah.
And Richard was able to talk to you about it earlier this week.
Special for sure, and I've loved every minute that I've had representing the United States, and I've been to 4 Paralympic games. This will be my 5th. One thing that will make this one very special to me is that my kids, who were, one of them wasn't even born when I started, are going to be old enough to be there, and I'm excited to have my wife and kids be there in Paris with me.
Still a way to go. Stages 2, stages 3. How are you being chased rather than being the chaser?
I don't mind being chased. I'm actually satisfied with. I'll take the first place points from today. I didn't feel like I shot very well, but I'll take the first place points. I know I've got better in me. We still got a lot of arrows in front of us, so I've got to still do a lot of work, and I'm prepared for it. I'm ready for it. I feel good about it, and I'm excited to get ready and hopefully be named to the team in May.
Well, clearly there is a correlation between being the champion of the Vegas shoot and winning here at the Arizona Cup. Matthias Fullerton, congratulations on your gold medal victory.
Thank you.
Matthias, this year has started off just a banger for you. Carrying on the momentum of last year, Arizona Cup, what are your general thoughts?
It was my first time here. Today I was expecting a little bit hotter weather. I was kind of...
So were we.
And it was windy, but yeah, it's been great here. Of course, now I've won, and I'm just really happy. It was a good experience.
You know, it was a difficult situation when you consider the wind conditions, also the temperature dropping about 10 degrees in the last couple of hours. Whether you're on your system of Celsius or our system of Fahrenheit, it's about 10 degrees either way. I would say that the wind is the big issue here at this venue right now.
Yeah, for sure. You could see on the scores today, it was so mixed. You could have some good scores, and then all of a sudden a shooter that shot really good would shoot really bad. And I tried to read the wind. That was all I focused on, because I knew my shooting was pretty good, but I was just trying to be really cautious and not make those big mistakes. And I try to shoot quick, and I'll drop a few points that way, but that's better than having a big mistake.
You feel like maybe we're looking at the beginning of a rivalry between you and Mikey for the rest of the season?
Maybe. I've always seen Mike as a big rival, so it was fun shooting against him today. And the shoot-off, I honestly didn't expect to win that one after I shot it, but you never know with these windy conditions.
Yeah, it really came down to just a millimeter or so close. Both of you, there were multiple times I could take the paper targets, overlay them. You both had arrows in the exact same spot in the target at the same time.
Yeah, the arrows were pushing a lot. We talked about it here. We were like, damn, that was not where I aimed, but it hit way different. So it's really tricky, and you never really know if a good shot is gonna hit good. So.
Well, this may be the most opening and challenging of the venues that you'll face. Are you headed to Shanghai next?
Yeah, I'll get home tomorrow, and then 1.5 weeks till Shanghai. So it's a great start to the season, and I'm excited for the rest.
100%. Thank you, Matthias Fullerton from Denmark, coming here to Arizona and making your mark for the first time here at the Arizona Cup 2024. And we're back in action with the barebow category as we're about to get underway. And Eric, like I said, the barebow, always some of the most entertaining and unique shooters in our sport.
You know, it's such an interesting division too. I mean, it takes the pure form of archery, really, right? A stick, a string, and an arrow, and let's see who can shoot it in the middle.
Yeah. I think that, you know, with the conditions we've got today, plus the additional challenges of shooting barebow, we could be seeing something interesting in the next few minutes.
Yeah, on one hand, there's not the stabilizers and things like that to get pushed as much by the wind.
True.
But you also don't have anything to aim off with. I mean, other than the point of your arrow. So depending on how well you've planned for this, it could be real exciting.
Okay, we're ready to go. Our gold medal women's barebow match.
We are now moving on to our third match. We have barebow women. I'd like to invite the coaches to please come forward. And now we have the archers led by our own Jim Flores. On target number 1, Diane Cochran.
So we have Diane
who
Cochran
is
coming in.
Number 1 ranked archer.
Number 1 ranked here at
Target
the Arizona
2,
Cup.
we have Joanna
Diane's from Washington.
Sacco, the 3rd ranked archer.
And she has she's been successful before. She's won the silver medal at the 2023 Buckeye Classic.
Diane has chosen
And
to shoot
she
first.
has defeated Diane at that Buckeye Classic 7-3. So this is a rematch. We'll see how it goes.
So what's going through your mind as a barebow shooter in these conditions? Are you changing your shot process at all? I mean, is it possible to aim off?
I think I'm going to probably aim off about where I was aiming off on the other field.
Okay.
On this first arrow. And a great
and a 10. Wow.
Great opening shot.
Yes, it was.
So wherever she's aiming, I would aim there again.
Do that again.
We've got a high. That second shot, or that first shot from Joanna's a little high.
Unfortunately, our cameraman is not transparent. 8 out the top.
See if Diane can do it again.
And that's in the black.
3.
Yeah. 3-4 liner. Probably a 3 for sure. But you know, this is barebow. I mean, this goes with the territory, especially in this kind of weather.
Well, I think that you're definitely going to have
10.
wider groups than you would see with a compound, of course, or even with a recurve with sights.
So just 2 points down on target number 2. That's a 7.
So opening end of 20 from Diane.
Yep. Useful to have a physics teacher doing the math here.
Yeah.
I don't normally work with the numbers that low. I'm sorry.
That one's a 9-10 liner.
Yep, it is indeed. I'll bet you that gets called a 10.
It looked like it was into me.
That's outstanding.
I think unofficially for sure Joanna's taken that first set.
Yeah, no question. Oh, and by the way, set play is the order of the day as we move into the barebow and the recurve categories. Best of first shooter to reach 6 points will be the winner. So 2 set points for a win, 1 set point each for a tie. And again, first archer to reach 6 set points will win the match.
The set system probably feels like it was invented for barebow.
Yeah.
Because you can have those barebow shots that aren't necessarily your greatest and still end up winning a match.
So I hate to ask, but do you, as a barebow shooter occasionally yourself, do you know if it was you, or do you know if it was the wind, or do you know, I mean, shooting a recurve, we have a connection where we pretty much know my sight was here when that thing cut loose, and I know where that arrow went. Do you have that same thing?
I think that as I got better and more consistent, I could tell when it was me. I would say
connection started
definitely
to
early
form.
on, it was hard to tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll see that Joanna has 2 set points to Diane's
It's
0.
definitely a different dynamic too. Having,
as such,
I mean,
Diane
the
will
recurve
be
aspect of it is the same,
shooting
but when you take the clicker out of it, it's such a different way of aiming and shooting.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
No, I definitely believe it.
So we have Diane shooting first.
Yeah,
shooting
because
first again.
she has a 2 set point disadvantage. She'll be shooting first on target 1. I think it's very fair to say this is a super challenging situation. 8 seconds left on the clock. And that is a 7.
7 to the left a little bit. Maybe she shot aimed a little bit too far.
Yeah, let's be clear and honest. I would be coming out of my shoes if I couldn't use a clicker. I think I'd have a big problem.
9.
It's kind of a two-edged sword, right? That clicker sometimes can be your worst enemy, but when you don't have it, you wish you did.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a 9.
9.
So Joanna's the defending champion here at the Arizona Cup from last year, so she took those first 2 set points, her first arrow, with a 9. Let's see if she can shoot another one.
Big wind shift, and it partly, I would say, was responsible for what we just saw, because you notice that wind changed direction abruptly.
Yeah.
Look at the windsock, look at the American flag and the Arizona flag off in the distance, and you can very clearly see we just had a big shift of wind current.
9.
And temperature change again.
Yep, it seems
dropping
like it's
rapidly.
gotten even cooler. And of course, that's hand in hand with the wind change, one driving the other.
9.
Pair of 9s and a 7 versus a pair of 9s and a 5. So we've got a draw.
Looks that way. I don't think there's anything on the line that will call that into question, so unofficially I think we're tied up.
Yeah, unofficially we've got a draw.
All right, we are confirmed. Diane shot better that end. Our score will be 2 set points to 2.
These ladies, excuse me, have come up against each other a couple times before, and
Target 1 will be shooting first.
I think you might have mentioned that Diane did defeat Joanna
At the
in
Buckeye.
the 2023 Buckeye Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
men's barebow coming up right after these ladies complete their match.
Interesting.
And we'll round out our coverage from the Arizona Cup with the recurve category.
Both these ladies left-handed too.
Oh yeah.
I can't see what their releases look like when they're facing away from us.
I can't see where they're setting up on their clicker. Oh wait, never mind. No.
All right, Diane with her first shot here.
That was quick.
9.
I mean, it feels like it was quick to me as a recurve shooter, you know. Hits anchor and bang, gone. Slightly longer hold, 9 points as well.
9.
This is
Just
turning
out of
into
the
a
10.
real shooting
It's a
match.
good shot. Yep.
Nine.
Looks like another good shot from
9.
Diane. That's 2 in a row.
Yeah, it feels like the wind has given them a little break here.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to have slowed down just a skosh. And an 8. This one could be
8.
critical. Anything in the gold will take this set. And Diane with a 7, opening the
7.
door for Joanna.
So unofficially a 25.
And that's a 7.
7.
So 9-8-7 for Joanna. And we're looking at a 9-9-7. So that's a 2-point advantage for Diane.
So 4-2 could end on the next set.
Could indeed. Or we could see ourselves with another tie.
Confirmed.
I'd say let's go for another 1-arrow shoot-off.
In favor of Diane.
That'd be nice, wouldn't
That
it?
means
Yeah.
Joanna will start this next end.
I know we've been talking incessantly about the wind. Do you smell the rain? I smell rain.
Yeah, and from our vantage point too, looking out to the west and the south, there's definitely some rainfall.
So there's a
around us.
phenomenon here in the desert Southwest that's known as virga. Please explain that for our
It's
viewers.
I don't know how to describe it other than like a
that
light
is indeed
light
the case.
rain, but you can
Diane
see it in the
leads
distance,
2
almost
set
floating in the
points.
air.
Right,
Doesn't
4
quite
set
reach the
points
ground.
to 2.
And it's
This end, Joanna
when
will
it gets to
begin.
where it's over you, it is like a
Almost a mist.
like a mist. That's about a great way to describe it.
Suddenly the air feels as if it is densified.
Yep.
And it becomes a different feeling, and it can affect your sight mark.
For sure.
And it's all around us as we speak.
The wind has shifted direction too. It's definitely more from behind than it was before.
And a tailwind is sometimes a more difficult thing for some shooters to deal with because you can't necessarily feel what it's doing. It's an 8.
8.
You know, a tailwind is something that a lot of the shooters have been dealing with a lot of this week.
Yeah.
Even when we had nice weather, a tailwind was certainly a phenomenon.
Yesterday, in particular for me, the tailwind really
9.
makes my
9.
light arrows hard to predict.
Right. The lighter the arrow, the lower the aerodynamic stability if you have a tailwind. It's as if the arrow is flying slower.
Yeah, and almost tumbling
9.
a little bit when
Exactly.
it gets downrange.
Shifts the center of gravity as far as the center of pressure relationship.
This is a big arrow for Diane here.
Yes, this is going to be an important one. Oh, unfortunately, it's a 5.
5.
Anything in the 8 ring,
So Joanna can make this.
and that's a 7-6 liner.
7.
10 will tie. It is not a 10.
7.
We have a draw.
So we're going back to tied at 4 with 1 more to go.
One more to go and potentially a shoot-off as well. We'll see how it ends up. So we'll have a 4-4 down there. If we get a tie on the next set, we will be in a shoot-off. One of 2 outcomes next, winner or a shoot-off. Our gentlemen's barebow final coming up next, and that features Marcus Cooley of Nevada and California's Andrew Cousins.
Marcus Cooley was
All right,
a teammate of mine in Chile last year, or actually 2 years ago in Santiago.
Joanna has picked up 2 more set points.
U.S.
so we are
barebow
tied
team went down
4-4.
to Santiago with the para team and with the able-bodied team. It was a
That
really
line,
cool
Diane will shoot
dynamic.
first for this end.
Tied score, back to the original shooting order. Here is the critical set. Final regulation scoring set. Diane shooting first. I know we say it over and over again, but that wind just picked up again. Look at those flags off in the distance. That's a 9.
It's a great opening shot.
9.
The streamers along the back wall are roaring like I haven't seen them so far. And that's a 10-9 liner.
10.
It's 10 for sure.
What a great answer. You know, those streamers, I relied on those tremendously this week.
Are they useful?
I felt like they were the most useful thing on the field.
And that's an 8.
8.
And an 8. That
8.
definitely got, there had to be a wind component to that.
We're down to our final arrow.
We are indeed.
1 point separates them.
A 10 would be conspicuously useful. There's a 9. That's also
good
really
9.
good.
9.
9, 8,
win
4
this
down.
with a 9.
And we have a draw.
8.
1 arrow shoot off again.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We're good luck today.
Well, you know, I don't know if they'd think so. We'll find out. But yeah, maybe we should go off and buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, might be the day.
Depending what the judges determine down there, we may have a tie for this end, which would put the set points at 5-5 and send us into a 1-arrow shoot-off.
Yep, sure looks like that's going to be the case. We'll find out in a moment.
Let's see how it goes.
Should we find ourselves in a shoot-off, it will be back to the original shooting order. You know what, I was just reflecting on the idea earlier. I got to talk to Matthias Fullerton in the men's compound final.
To determine the gold
It was very interesting to me that he hasn't changed a bit after winning arguably the biggest event in our sport for compound, right?
Yeah.
Biggest champion, same guy.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. What a dream to win that. That's definitely one I have never even come close at.
I really want to get the I want to get that actual measurement from that match, because I'll tell you, it couldn't have been more than 1.5 millimeters.
Yeah, rare that you see the caliper, right?
Right. 2 times in my announcing career at the world level have I seen the judge give up and have them shoot again.
Shoot it again.
It's not common. This would have been a candidate for that. Eight. Opportunity is open.
All right, Joanne can win it with a
Anything
arrow
in the
with
goal.
yellow.
And an 8. So it's going to be distance.
8.
And I am calling this in favor of Joanne by approximately 2 millimeters.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Looks like about a 2 millimeter win. So watch the calipers come out, because I'm sure they'll make a measurement, but just eyeballing it from here, and you know, with our experience as shooters, looks like about a 2 millimeter differential in favor of Joanne.
Surprisingly close shoot off yet again.
It must be really close.
Yeah.
We have some barebow fans in the stands that are pretty think that this is pretty great that they have to pull the calipers out here.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, they're always enthusiastic.
Yeah. I shot.
So will this be revenge for Joanna Zacco's defeat at the Buckeye Classic? She is the defending champion here at the Arizona Cup, right?
Yes.
And there it is. That's official.
Two wins in a row.
Yes, indeed.
It's great shooting by both ladies.
Well, we'll be hearing from Joanna Zacco in a few moments.
We still have men's barebow
But first,
and women and men's recurve.
we're going to hear
gold medal
from
matches to
Jack
contest.
Williams, who sits fourth after stage 4 of the Olympic trials qualifications, with stages 5 and 6 in Florida next month. You'll hear from Jack when he says that with 2 quota spots up for grabs, there is still everything to play for.
I think Brady is obviously a standard to shoot against because, you know, he's going to shoot a high score. So if you can at least match that, like, you know, you're in a pretty good spot. But as far as points goes, no, it's a good chunk right now. And not that I'm looking at people behind, but just kind of keeping myself shooting well. And I know that I'll slowly add points over time. Previous experience into today is really just make the top 8 and, you know, put yourself in a good position, take points where you can, because there's so many more points. Like, I think we're not even halfway done with the given points. So, yeah, Brady's a bit out of the picture, but it's still anybody's game if you make the top 8. So that was really my main concern, is just put together a few good rounds and take points where you can. I got bonus points in qualification, so now just keep it rolling.
Our Arizona Cup 2024 barebow women's champion is unusually flexible with her name.
Hello, Joanna, Cindy Sacco.
I'll call you Cindy. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, well, Cindy, congratulations on defending your championship here at the Arizona Cup.
Thank you.
And congratulations on revenge for your match at the Buckeye Classic last year against...
That's right. Yep.
So what was it like shooting in these conditions with barebow?
You know, I wasn't prepared. Well, I kind of was prepared, but I still wasn't anticipating the cold. That is Arizona compared to years past.
This is Arizona. It's not supposed to be cold.
It's quite cold, and I'm not used to it. I'm from the South, so.
Well, there's no doubt that the conditions today are not as pleasant as they were yesterday, and yet you held firm and really did a great job. How about that shoot-off?
It was fun. I hope to help keep things interesting, and I think it was today.
Well, let me put it this way. The gentleman's compound match, it came down to about 1.5 millimeters. So did yours.
Wow. Okay. That's very close.
I believe that was a very impressive display from both of you ladies, and I want to again congratulate you on another Arizona Cup victory here in 2024.
Thank you so much, sir.
We'll be back in just a few moments. And we're back in action at the Arizona Cup 2024. Eric Bennett with me, the American Paralympian recurve shooter. And Eric, we're down to the recurves. Last 2 matches, it's going to be the ladies' recurve competition, followed by the gentlemen's recurve final. And so our first match is going to be the ladies' recurve.
Men's barebow.
Excuse me. I am way ahead of myself. And Eric was trying to tell me. My apologies. It's the men's barebow competition is next. I was just so overwhelmed by the performance in that shoot-off that I totally forgot about the gentleman's barebow. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving into the next match. we have barebow men. Please bring in the coaches.
So Marcus Cooley, as I mentioned earlier, was a teammate of mine in Santiago the end of 2022. We had the Continental Championships, had the Masters, Paralympic, and able-bodied teams all together. It was quite an event.
World record holder, huh?
Number 1.
Indeed. So Marcus is the defending champion here at the Arizona Cup, and he was part of the team that won gold down in Santiago.
Archer, Marcus opted to shoot second, so Andrew will be starting us off.
And we'll go straight to it.
Andrew will be shooting first.
Andrew Cousins of California with the 592 in qualification. He beat the second seed, Wallace Woodleaf. Blowout, 6-0.
Yeah, quite handily.
Yeah.
Wind's down a little bit.
It is. Notice that formation there on the distance. We have some more moisture moving in.
Mm-hmm.
And a 9 to start. Low 9.
9.
And now the wind is picking up.
9-10 liner.
9.
And it is a 9 just out. There is an 8.
8.
Andrew looked like he tried to help that one a little bit.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of a little English on that bow arm, huh?
Sometimes it's unavoidable.
I can't blame him, considering 8 points on that. So we have a tied score. And there's an 8.
8.
They've got it surrounded. And an 8. We have ourselves a tie.
Couldn't have made that any more equal.
No, it was quite equitable. So we'll go back to the original shooting order after the scoring is complete for this first set. Each archer will receive 1 set point on their way to trying to be the first to reach 6 set points. While we're waiting for the judges to do their job, I want to just ask you a question, Eric, and that is about your current Paralympic journey. You know, you're back from Dubai recently. How are things developing for you moving forward?
Andrew will begin this end.
So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. I didn't shoot my greatest score this weekend, but I finished in first, so that's a big boost heading into the rest of the trials, and I feel really confident that I can do what I need to do. So there's good competition all around. We've got a young fellow, 15-year-old Jordan White.
He's the one who actually beat you earlier today,
He did.
right?
He beat me quite handily. So I have lots of chances at revenge at the trials for him. But
some pretty impressive numbers he threw up today,
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, he's got a bright future.
Scores are complete. Each archer with 1 set point in this gentleman's barebow gold medal final here at the Arizona Cup 2024.
And don't let the barebow folks hear you call it a compound.
Oh, Lordy, I'm going to be in trouble. You know how they can be. Pitchforks and torches. That's an 8?
8.
Okay, neither of these gentlemen has really shot much above the center line.
Nope. I was just going to point out that every single one of Andrew's shots have been low.
And that one, well, that
7.
that set us straight. That's a 7 out the top. Nicely done. That looks like a 10-9 liner. Probably a 10.
See if Marcus can recover from that last shot.
Talk to me about the mechanics of aiming with the barebow arrow,
9.
Eric. That's a 9 on that shot.
Man, for me, it's...
We hear the term point of aim. What does that mean?
I think it's different for everybody. For me...
And there's a 6.
6.
For me, I was able to... And I only shot indoors, keep in mind.
Sure.
I was able to put together an arrow combination that gave me a good a good tune and a good spine, but also left the point long enough that I could aim truly point on. So
9.
I'm looking at the top curve of my point and putting that right through the center of the X on the target. The tricky part is holding that aim and executing without having the clicker to give you
All right,
an
our
indication
preliminary
that you've
score says
reached
that
your expansion. So
You've got a number of almost moving variables, right?
Yeah.
Especially, I imagine barebow field is particularly challenging because when you're changing distances, you're essentially
and
changing
angles.
your tune.
Yeah, you're changing angles, you're changing distances.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I'm not sure if I'm really up for that challenge, to be honest, with all the different string walking and things that have to be done at different distances.
Well, you know,
but I had a great time indoors for sure. So I wondered too, as you pointed out, the low arrows too. I wonder if,
it has been confirmed.
in a pressure situation
Marcus
like
is
this,
ahead
in a
3-1.
finals venue that you haven't had
Andrew will
familiarization,
start this next
if
end.
it's just a matter of not really coming to full draw as much as it is the wind. So
I think every one of those factors comes into play. A little bit of nerves, a little bit of environmental conditions, and of course the fact that you haven't got a clicker on the darn thing. It's got to be part of it.
So Marcus takes a 2-point advantage here. Andrew will still be shooting first.
Yes. That is out the bottom, 7.
Still low, yeah.
7.
Now that's not a wind factor. It's got to be some kind of a form-related thing, I would think. Am I wrong?
7.
Yeah, because of the wind at his back. If anything, you normally are going to hit a little bit high.
You'd think. 7 out the top on that one. And there's a 9.
Good recovery.
9.
Good follow through on that one too. So perhaps that's the.
Yeah. And an 8 out the top. That one, you know, if I saw a recurve shooter with a release that looked like that, I'd say they had a lot of tension in their hand. I don't know if that's fair to say in this situation.
That is Marcus's 3rd or 4th arrow out the top.
Yeah. When you see those splayed fingers, that indicates tension to me, you know.
8.
I think we might have a tie game here.
Yeah, we do have a tied game. Unofficially, it's going to be 3-3 after doing the math. I believe that, what do you think, Eric? Should we take the chance and talk about another shoot-off?
We're going to go 3 for 3.
Why not?
All right.
This one's going to be close.
I'm here all day. Consistent shooting from both archers.
Guess what? I think for the first time in about 3 hours, it's as calm as it has been. That windsock just dropped and everything just calmed down and a little bit of sun is about to come out.
We've moved back into
There's a little tiny break.
Now, here's the problem with this little tiny break.
Yep.
And
When you're shooting a
target 2 will
recurve
be
bow,
shooting first.
you don't have a peep. That light change can affect your string alignment, which
Dramatically.
is still a factor for barebow.
Yep, for sure.
So this
I
could.
have the place where I practice with my recurve. I get a lot of different shadows in the late part of the day, and it makes a big difference.
Well, we'll see if that affects him positively or not. Back to the original shooting order. And it's another low 7.
It was a quick shot,
8.
too.
Yes. He's not wasting any time.
See if Marcus can.
And
8.
out the top, 8. Personally, I'd rather be a little high than low.
Agreed.
And just out of the 10 ring. Low, though.
9.
I'd be moving that side about 2. Oh, wait, never mind. And a 9.
9.
Andrew's best shots have been when he's followed through on the front side. So,
by the way, lame jokes about moving side to side. These guys can actually move up and down the string a skosh to make those small adjustments, right?
6.
6 points out the bottom. This guy is shooting low. What would you do? Move your fingers down?
I would
slightly.
I would aim higher.
Okay.
10.
Wow.
It's a good finish.
Yeah. It's not over yet,
So,
though.
That doesn't win the match, but that puts Marcus up 5-3.
It does.
And with 3 arrows to go, he just needs the tie to put it away.
If he maintains the momentum that he just showed with those 3 arrows, because that's a credible 3 arrows for sure.
Yeah.
Andrew will shoot first for this 5th end.
If Andrew comes through with a solid end here, straightens out his low arrow situation, that could put the pressure on. We could see
we
a
could
shoot
get
off.
our 1 arrow shoot off.
We could have it. On the other hand, well, we'll see. Right now, though, it's 5-3. Marcus Cooley of Nevada. Again, remember, this gentleman is a member of the United States barebow men's team, setting a world record at the Pan Am Championship in Chile. Actually, it was 2022, right?
2022,
Yeah.
yeah.
Along with a couple of stalwarts in our sport, Matt Yaka, great guy.
Yep, and Rick Stonebreaker.
And Rick Stonebreaker, who's been around since, well, let's just put it this way. When Moses played Little League, Rick Stonebreaker was at home plate.
I was told he invented archery.
Well, you know, Rick has been around forever. He's honestly a real asset to our sport.
Rick has been one of my biggest supporters for years. And great
He's supported a ton of people over the years. He's done so much for so many. Okay, 6 points on that one, and we're looking at a 9. Okay, I think we can see how this is going to shake out.
Yeah,
here.
and Marcus's arrows, even though they're high, they're in the same spot every time.
Yeah, very consistent, right? And like I said earlier, I honestly believe part of that is intentional, having them, better to be high. 9 points. Going to take a full-on derailment, though, to stop this momentum. And there's an 8.
Still looks pretty good.
Yeah, that gives him a couple points to play with here. That is an 8 out the top.
8.
Anything
So
in the
987 for
987 will do the job. Anything in the red. And boom goes the barebow dynamite. That is an 8 and victory.
Good shooting by Marcus. Actually goes good shooting by both.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Marcus came into this thing with a big advantage in the qualifying round if you look at it from raw score.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Andrew punched up in weight. Pretty solid shooting from both of these guys.
A gold medal winner.
Marcus Cooley of Nevada is going to be that gold medal winner. Our defending champion who won the SoCal Showdown last year as well.
Yeah.
Is your gold medalist in
As a recurve shooter, I gotta say, those 60-meter targets look really close.
Yeah, they do.
I wish I could do that.
They're not, but they are. They look like they are. Well, the winner of the men's barebow will be talking to us very shortly. But, this week, of course, Erica, as we've talked about, it's been 2 more stages of the United States Olympic Trials qualification. 6 stages in all. And so far, throughout, we've had 4-time Olympian Brady Ellison setting the pace and feeling pretty comfortable doing so.
Has been the best I've performed at Olympic trials. Whether it's just age or comfortability or anything, this is the first time in 14 trials events that I've shot where we have this many round robins that I went 15 matches in a row without anyone beating me. So feeling good. It's a good year to be shooting good, and we got to get our spots next week. And I think having this trials here, competing all week, and then Arizona Cup, and then going down there, we're pretty. Our blades are pretty sharpened on the tournament edge of things going into next week.
Thank you. Is this all right? I think he's fine right there, yeah. Marcus Cooley of Nevada is our 2024 Arizona Cup champion and also the 2023 Arizona Cup champion. And 2023 SoCal champion. Starting to make this a habit, aren't you?
I'm enjoying myself with it so far.
Congratulations. Tell me what it was like shooting here today with the cooler conditions than normal and the overcast conditions. How did that affect things for you?
It definitely changed my crawls just a little bit. I shoot in Nevada, obviously, so I'm used to shooting in the desert. It's been short training sessions trying to, deal with this cold and whatnot. So I was really enjoying the weather yesterday. Today was a little on the chilly side, but not bad.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that it was a little on the chilly side. In fact, we've got a little bit of virga in the air around us, don't we?
Yeah. So it's all good. It's you train for this, and we train in really nasty conditions over there. So you do what you got to do.
What's next on your agenda?
I leave Sunday for Colombia for the Pan Am Championships.
And you've done well in that hemisphere before. Are you feeling like you might do it again?
I'm hoping to be able to go down there and make a splash again.
Is there a team round in this competition that you're getting into?
There will be a men's team and a mixed team. We didn't garner enough women to be able to have a women's team down there, but yeah.
So who knows? You could set another record potentially.
I wouldn't be disappointed in that.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing your performance, and again, congratulations, and good luck on your trip down past the equator once again.
Right on. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. It's always nice to see Brady and the progress that he's made over the years. It's just a journey that I have been watching him when he was a junior cadet, actually.
Yeah.
With a compound bow.
Yep.
Circa 2004, 2003. But you've actually observed him a lot longer as his physics teacher in school.
Yeah, so Brady, as many of you know, is from Arizona. I'm from Arizona, and I actually knew him long before I was his teacher. I was witness to his domination even in the 3D realm here in Arizona when he was a 12, 13-year-old just beating up on the teenagers. And then, of course, he went on to be junior world champion and all those amazing things with his compound. But the year that he actually switched to Recurve and moved to Chula to be a resident athlete, he was a student at Mountain Ridge High School in northern Phoenix, and I happened to be a physics teacher at Mountain Ridge High School.
Mm-hmm.
And his junior year, he was in my physics class, and that was the year that it would have been 06, 07, January, I believe, of 07, he left Mountain Ridge to go be a resident athlete. So I was his teacher at the time, and it was really cool to witness him go through that journey, switch to Recurve, be successful immediately, and go on to go train at the center under Coach Lee, and then become who he is, right? So it's been fun to see him grow up and to be a part of that, be a small part of that, I guess. Nothing to do with the archery side of it, but at least maybe I taught him something that will help him figure out the trajectory of his bow, or the energy transfer, or whatever it might be.
Well, as a physics professor, you are in a position to explain some of these things to shooters, even if we don't necessarily want to know about them.
It's probably better if most of them don't know it, right?
I'll tell you, it's interesting. A lot of shooters think they want to know things, but that they shouldn't have to worry about when they're actually executing the shot. I think it's fair to say that Brady knows how to compartmentalize that stuff.
Yeah, and he is the rare perfect combination of raw talent, just pure talent and skill, but also the just pure iron will and mental toughness to excel through the things that he's excelled through and to do the things that he's done. And it's been fun to watch his Olympic journey, because my Paralympic journey parallels that.
Yes.
Early '07 is when I first made my first Paralympic team, and so if he makes Paris and I make Paris, it'll both be our 5th games, and that would be pretty awesome.
You know, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I expect that, you know, you're both going to do your very best to make that happen.
Yeah, we're both in good position for that. He's much further along in the process than I am, but he's shooting well, shooting at the top of his game as
far as the Olympic trials process goes, Brady currently enjoying more than I think a 30-point advantage right now over the rest of the field. Mathematically, he still needs to continue to shoot, but you know, he could actually theoretically find himself not needing to shoot the last match.
Yeah.
Which is a position he's actually been in before.
Correct. Yeah.
So that just shows you the domination level. I was watching him in practice today as we went into the finals in the Arizona Cup portion of this event. You know, the elimination matches. First practice arrow, roaring tailwind. I mean, by any standard, anybody who has experience in this sport would go, man, I'll be happy if I put it anywhere in the gold, right on the spider.
Yep.
Just remarkable. And then followed it up with a bunch of X's, you know. Just
For sure. It's always a pleasure to watch him shoot, and then, of course, as everyone knows, he's such a great guy and gracious to the fans, and always fun to shoot with him.
You know, they're subjecting him to something on the order of 16 hours of media presentations over a short period of time.
Yeah.
He is so experienced that he knows how to deal with it. Yeah. And he still, I would say, looks forward to sharing stories about our sport with the media and the public that doesn't know about our sport. Yeah. And that's an amazing thing for a guy who's done this much and accomplished this much and is that universally recognized.
Well, and has been at it for so long, too, right? So, you know.
I mean, he's got plans. Let's just, cards on the table. He's got plans for 2028.
Absolutely. In fact, he and I have, well, I'll show a quick story about even where I'm at with Paris. And that's, you know, with when we ended with Tokyo and the way COVID kind of messed Tokyo up and how things went down with that, I was ready to hang things up. And I actually had a pretty frank conversation with him here at the Arizona State Indoor. He was shooting one of our local shoots, and we chit-chatted between ends for quite a while, and he's one of a big factor that helped talk me into pursuing Paris. And so, you know, I'm 50 years old, so I've been at the, I've been at this as long as he has, but I'm also quite 20 years older. So it was a big decision, but I'm actually happy that he talked me into it, and because here I am, and I feel like I've got a really good chance, and making my 5th games would be amazing, but also I still have unfinished business. I've yet to medal at the game, so hoping to make that a reality this time.
Well, I think that if anybody can do it, it's going to be you, and if anybody can do it, it's going to be Brady. The only unanswered question right now is, are we going to be able to send a team?
Yeah.
And the next group that we're going to be seeing in a few minutes are among those people who are going to make those decisions for both the men's and women's Olympic teams.
Yeah, we have some great matchups this afternoon.
We've still got 2 matchups ahead that are arguably super high quality, like what we saw between Mikey and Matthias earlier today.
Absolutely.
It's a treat to be able to see these competitors that we're about to see in a few minutes. Field is being reset right now. Let me just point out that the targets have been moved from 60 to 70 meters now. We have had the cameras being reset to go with that. The crowd has actually gotten bigger behind us here, and I'm sure that a lot of Brady's fans are maybe a little disappointed that he won't be in this final today.
Well, you can't win everything.
You can't win everything.
You can't win every single match.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can, but
no,
sometimes
nobody can.
People are human.
Hey, if you could win every match, why would you have a competition in the first place?
So it's, it is, for the local fans around here, it might be a little bit of a bummer that Brady's not in the final match. But
no, but we've got some quality shooters ahead in the matches to come, and I think that these people here, some of whom are archers, some of whom are local fans, they're going to be they're going to have a real show. Because
they're going to see some great archery, and then I don't want to jinx anything, but with the that little mini storm system that kind of came through, we've got a little bit better light and the wind's down. So
yeah, you know, you don't want the curse of the commentator, but I'll tell you that it has seemingly improved in the last 10 minutes or so.
The temperature's still down, but the wind is also down.
It's
so
definitely a factor, you know, especially shooting with fingers. And you're looking at a situation where it's not warming up at all, but it has calmed down slightly at least. So it should be less of a big problem. You know, one of the best parts of the end of any archery competition is that opportunity to look at the next one coming up. And of course, for the United States archery team competitors, that is going to be the Gator Cup.
Yes.
Which is going to take place at the Easton Newberry Center in Florida. And that'll be just about a month from now. I expect that it'll be warmer weather for that one. But right now, it is time to get back into action. And now the field of play is ready to go. Diane Tone, our director of shooting.
Looks like the field is now set. Our electronics are working, and we are about to begin. I'd like to call in the coaches, and we are moving into the gold medal match for Recurve women, led by Jim Flores, our judge. On target 1, we have Casey Caulfield, ranked #1.
Not just ranked #1 here in the United States and here at the
11th, we have Emma Kim.
At the Arizona Cup, but Casey Caulfield has been #1 in the world twice in the last 12 months.
Will lead off shooting first.
Casey is a fantastic shooter.
Yep.
And
Emma Kim, part of what's happening in Southern California, I believe. And
she's come on really strong.
She has. She's moved up strongly in the last 6 months, I think.
She sure has. She qualified here 11th, but she fought well through the elimination matches to get to the gold medal match, and now she gets a chance to knock off #1.
All right. We're in action. 70 meters to the target. Set play for the Recurves. That is about 76 yards. A 10 ring about the size of, well, you kids won't remember what these are, but the size of a DVD.
7.
Now remember, none of these shooters has shot on this field up until now. Casey's arrow went downwind.
8.
And Emma has an 8. And there's a 9 from Casey. It's just a little low.
So it looks like she's corrected there for that win.
Corrected on left to right. She's still low. I would definitely be looking to bring that up just a skosh. Emma in an appropriate spot in the 9 ring. It's just a little tall. We have a 1 point advantage for Emma Kim. And there's a 9 for Casey.
9.
Both of her 9's a little low. She made a sight adjustment there.
And there's a 10, so that cinches this first set. And so Casey will shoot first when we go to the second set.
Those last 2 arrows, just a little bit low. She made a sight adjustment.
Yeah, just gave it a spin.
They look like they're in a good spot too, so we'll see what this looks like in the next end here.
Scores are official and in the book. Emma Kim with a 2-point lead. Casey Caulfield of the United States of America shooting first on target #1. Don't forget, still coming up, we've got our Recurve men's gold medal match to close things out here at the Arizona Cup.
Emma is ahead 2 set points to 0. Casey will start this end.
Casey Caulfield is behind by 2 set points, therefore she will shoot first on target #1 as we're about to get back underway. Remember, the first archer to reach 6 set points will be the winner.
Two left-handed archers again.
Yeah, yeah. Must be a thing. We know a few Olympians who've done very well as left-handed archers. Casey Kaufhold among them. Jay Bars, Sebastian Flute, all those lefties out there. And Casey with an 8 low. That's not characteristic of her.
Still low. Yeah, still low right.
Yes. But there's not much wind right now.
No.
Emma with a high 8.
8.
Almost the opposite of Casey's shot. Well, no, almost about it. It is the diametric opposite. Casey with a 9 just out of the 10 ring.
Just out, but that's definitely better where,
yeah,
more
it's on the pro side.
Play. Yeah,
on the pro side of the wind. Boy, that was a quick shot from Emma, right there next to her
8.
first shot. That was positively, you know, the kind of form you expect to see from a Korean national team member. And there's another 8 for Casey out the plus side. It's not what you'd expect to see from Casey right now.
I thought after that first end when she adjusted her sight that she
Emma
was
with
gonna
triple
fall
8s.
kind of right into her groove. But
yeah. So Casey catching a break here.
yeah, she's going to get this one, but
we'll have a draw.
She got some help from Emma on that.
But this is not, honestly, this is not the level I would expect from, quite frankly, 2 shooters who've shot to such a high level. It must just be the temperature has caught them by surprise.
Yeah.
It's got to be a factor. I'll be quite frank, I'm sitting here kind of more or less freezing.
Yeah, I went home and got a jacket this afternoon, and it wasn't enough. I wish I would have got 2.
Same.
Those of us that live here, though, aren't complaining because the heat's coming, and it's coming sooner than we want it to, so.
I have no doubt. Remember that we're in a place where 44 degrees centigrade is normal day.
Yeah.
Casey will shoot this end.
But not now. We're not getting in
Not
now.
right, yeah, not right now.
I wouldn't mind, you know, at least halfway toward that. What is it right now, 18? Something like that.
Yeah.
16. Okay, we're back to the original shooting order since we've got a draw. Casey Kaufhold of the United States shooting first on target 1. And a 10. That's more like it.
10.
First 10 for
Yes,
Casey.
first 10 of the match for her.
Wind's way down.
Yes. Emma responding with a 9 high.
9.
Still high, still quick,
Yes.
but better, more where she wants to be on
Really
that shot.
clean looking form, don't you think?
Yeah.
Casey with a real high 8.
8.
Something unusual for Casey here. Emma with an 8 as well. That's out the plus side. It's, you know, on the upwind side, so I wouldn't have expected that. Maybe she is feeling something that we don't feel sitting here, and maybe she aimed off too far. The windsock's not exactly dancing around too
There's
hard.
another 10 from
Nice
Casey.
10 from Casey. That will just about guarantee that she'll take this set. Well, there's no question mathematically. So, done.
9.
That is going to be a 4-2 advantage for Casey Kaufhold.
Good end from both archers.
Absolutely.
Casey real strong.
Yes. Emma will be shooting first as we go into the 3rd set. Casey Kaufhold, of course, sort of the giant slayer, right? She's probably the only American woman to consistently beat Korean women in international competition in the last, I'd say maybe 20 years.
It's really saying something.
It is.
For sure. She's so fun to watch.
All right,
Excellent
we have an
archer, great
update.
form.
Yeah.
Bright smile.
Yeah, really enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Four
Great
set
image.
points to 2. Emma will be shooting first on this end.
Scores are complete, and Casey Kaufhold with a 4-2 set point advantage over Emma Kim. Coming up, our next match will be Canada versus the United States.
X.
10.
You called it, it's an
I
X.
called it an X, but I'm going off the screen. So.
You are correct about it being an X. And that is a 10.
I think this is what we both expected from that first end.
Yes.
Ironically, the wind's picking up.
And a 9.
9.
Yeah, the conditions got worse and the shooting got better. And that's a 9.
Another 9.
We have a draw so
9.
far on this set. But remember, Casey has a 2 set point advantage. If she takes this set, she takes the win. If it's a draw, well, Emma's going to have to win the next 2 sets outright to force a shoot off. So Emma with a 10-9-9, Casey with a 10-9 and a...
Oh, just out.
Just out.
Okay.
Victory from a 10. It was a 9. So now we were let 5-3.
That's okay, because that still gives us a chance at our 1 arrow shoot off.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
Will
So-
our record hold?
So tied on that end, Casey goes up 5-3.
Yep.
I like being in that position.
Yes, absolutely. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
In this situation, that's exactly where you want to be. You notice, though, timing. That is the story of Emma.
Absolutely.
It's remarkable. She's really consistent.
Preliminary is that we've tied this end with 28s.
I'm going to confess, I wish I had that kind of shot where I could just, hit full draw, have X amount of time, and X being a small number, and have it and send it,
Interestingly enough, for me, I know that I shoot better when I am faster, but I can't. I have a hard time making myself
Oh
go
yeah,
faster.
same here. I mean, I'm notorious for long holds, occasionally, right? I don't want them, but I got them sometimes. But this young lady, I mean, that is really what you want to see.
All right, this will be our last set.
Last regulation set, yep. Either we have ourselves a tie or we'll see another victory for Casey Kaufhold. Okay, there's an 8.
8.
Let's see what Casey responds with here. Knowing her, I'd expect a 10 right now. And it's a 9.
9.
Wind came up, pushed the arrow a little bit.
Both on the downwind side.
Perfect height, though.
Yep.
And a 10.
10.
Now the thing just got interesting. Oh my. Another 10.
10.
Emma needs a 10 to really put the
Absolutely.
pressure on Casey.
Must have it. And that's a 9.
27's not bad.
No, but
a 9 wins it here.
yeah, exactly. And there it is. Casey Kaufhold is your champion. Words that are said over and over again in the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. Emma shot really well.
Yes, and an excellent silver medal performance for
sure.
Emma. That is something to build on.
All right, looks like this match has been decided.
Really good stuff. That was a great
We'll know
little
once the
match.
judges confirm.
Yeah, went all 5 sets. Great shooting from both ladies.
Absolutely.
Casey.
And we are going to have
found
a
groove and
oh yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Finished it strong.
You know, that's exactly right. That's one of her strengths. That's one of her superpowers. Is okay, things were a little rough partway through. Started out rougher than I normally expect to see from Casey, but she was able to pull it together at the end and deliver exactly what she needed to get exactly what she wanted.
Yeah.
So, and we will have a word with Casey about this after we hear from another Olympic hopeful. At the age of 16, Cham Chung is the youngest of the archers making it through to the final 3 stages of the Olympic trials qualification. She's improved with every stage, and she even surprised herself to have reached the latter stages earlier this week.
It's amazing that I went this far. I didn't expect it, but I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to compete with these like world-class archers that I've seen, you know, just through YouTube, World Archery. I think it's just a dream, and being the youngest, I feel like it doesn't really feel like I am the youngest. Like the other girls don't exclude me or do anything. I just feel like another archer.
And a few, you know, the Casey's and Jennifer's and Catalina's, they're the kind of top 3. It would take something incredible for them not to make it. You had to fight to get your way into that top 8. What was that like as a mental game?
I had to keep reminding myself just what I did to prepare and just reminding myself my shot over and over and over. I think that's really important, just reminding yourself what you have to do instead of anything else or anyone else.
It's deja vu all over again. I'm here with Casey Koffold, champion of the 2024 Arizona Cup. Casey, what's going on with you right now?
Just started the season, so I was hoping to start it off strong, and I feel like I did. It's been tricky here in Arizona with the wind, so that was a big thing, just being confident with where I'm aiming, and took those first 2 sets a little bit to figure out where to aim, but then I felt like I got it.
So, you know, earlier this season, I got to talk to you in Salt Lake City, you know, when you came up and visited, and you know, we talked about your plans for the season, and we talked about your, you know, what you were planning to do in terms of the progression toward those Olympic final qualifying tournament situation that you're finding yourself in. Olympic trials this week. Let's talk about that first. Olympic trials, how'd that go for you?
Olympic trials have gone really well so far. We started in September, and I felt like I started off decently. I didn't have as big of a lead as I would have liked, but I started off strong in first, and then here in Arizona, the first day we did a 72 round, and I did 677, which was really strong for me. That's like my practice score, so I was super fortunate to have like a round in competition like I shoot in practice. And then just keeping it going with the matches, trying to have that good arrow average and keep winning those sets as we go through.
So, you know, one interesting thing to me, and by the way, don't take this negatively, but we're kind of taking it for granted that you are where you are. Okay? What's interesting to me and what's cool is to see how some of your potential teammates are also moving up.
Yeah, there are so many girls that are shooting really well right now, and that's amazing to see, because I think in a way we all push each other, and that's really good just to have more depth in the women's division in the U.S. So we've seen more people shooting in the 330s, which is amazing, and so I think we really need that to be a strong team.
And so as the plan continues to evolve, what's your next step?
Really just getting comfortable shooting on the stage. That's my biggest thing, because when you get to the games, there are no prelims off the stage. Everything is on the stage. So that's my biggest thing, is just being comfortable dealing with the pressure and just having as much experience as I can before I get to Paris.
Well, and in fact, we didn't have a familiarization session on this particular finals stage beforehand. Is that useful to you?
Yeah, when we go to the games, you get to shoot, you know, on the stage a few days before, get used to it. So coming out here cold was interesting, because the wind here is just slightly different than the practice field. So my first shot felt really good. It just carried a little bit right, and then after that you kind of have to compensate more with the wind and get used to it as you go.
It is a tricky wind here in Arizona. Usually, today you had the added element of the cold. Obviously, that's a factor.
Yeah, I live on the East Coast, so over there it's still kind of cold in April. So it really just feels like home here in a way. I was expecting it to be, you know, sunny, 80 degrees like Arizona usually is, but we're here and it's a little chilly. But you still have to like stay in like a positive mindset, even though the conditions might not be exactly how you like.
Well, Casey, you know, it's always the unofficial start of the outdoor season, Arizona Cup, especially for those of us from the Northeast, originally for me too. And I will say that you've shown us that you're continuing on the same trajectory. We'll look forward to seeing how things go. You've got Gator Cup coming up. You've got some other events coming up. And so, you know, just keep it going.
Yes, thank you so much.
Casey Koffold, ladies and gentlemen, a legend in the
It was so much fun, but it was hard. The heat was definitely there, bearing down on us, and we worked through it though.
What has been the preparation? Because it's been a long time coming, this stage one, and then all of a sudden it's a gallop to the finish line.
Yes, it's come up so quickly. The biggest thing is working on endurance, making sure that we can get all 72 arrows sent down to the target as best we can, and training and making sure we're eating healthy and drinking lots of fluids and making sure we're in tip-top shape.
The journey over the last couple of years, and now we're here, 2024. I mean, this is Paralympic year. Does it seem quite real at this point?
It doesn't. Like I said, it's come so fast, and I'm just really excited that we're here and it's finally on the horizon and we're getting it done.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the Arizona Cup 2023, the finals event here, and we're at the final of the finals event. I'm here with Eric Bennett, American Paralympian and archery legend. Eric.
Thanks, George. It's good to be here.
I'll tell you what, this
We're
is
at the final gold medal match.
What's that orb in the sky? It looks like a thermonuclear device.
It's poking through, but I don't think it's going to last very long.
No, but we finally got a little bit of something that passes for sunshine.
Yeah, just like you mentioned before, right? That the flat light can really affect the recurves, and we're going to start with bright sun and go right into the dark during this match.
Yeah, so. And what we're talking about, if you're a compound shooter, you might not know about this, but us poor recurve shooters, we've got to deal with string alignment, and how we see the string has a big impact on our lefts and rights.
Yeah, the two archers that are about to take the stand here in a minute and start shooting are consummate professionals, though, so I'm sure they'll figure it out.
You're absolutely correct. Now, Devang Gupta is from Canada, from Ontario. We have not really seen much of him on international competition, but the other fella who we're going to see today, we've seen plenty of. And you know, here's the thing. I am infamous a little bit for coming up with nicknames for shooters, like Mr. Perfect, Mike Schlusser.
Yeah.
And a bunch of different shooters that have nicknames that I've bestowed upon them over the years, and some have stuck. Jack Williams, is he the California Kid?
I call him Jackie Jack, but I don't know. That's just me. But that's because I'm a teacher and I call students all kinds of stuff. So.
Right. So, you know, until we know what to call him, he's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I think that for now, the California Kid, because he's still got that boyish kind of thing going on, he'll be the California Kid.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. It is time. It's the grand finale.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin our final match of the day. This is the men's recurve. Our coaches have just walked in. And now our competitors, led by Judge Jim Flores. First off, on target 1, we have Jack Williams, the number 9 seed. Target 2, Devang Gupta, our number 7 seed. Jack will be starting this match, shooting first.
Okay.
I first met Jack here at the Arizona Cup.
Really?
I think it was his first Arizona Cup, and it was one of my very first shooting recurve.
Well, there's another first here today. Each of these two gentlemen, it's their first time shooting for the gold medal here at the Arizona Cup. I was surprised when I looked that up, because even Jack wasn't sure, but the reality is that Jack Williams has been such a force for the last couple of years. You expect, oh yeah, he shot for the gold medal before at Arizona. No, hasn't. So,
interesting.
Yeah. So here we go. Jack Williams of the United States, Mr. Gupta of Canada. One of them probably feels more at home in this weather than the other. Wow, what a huge blast of wind. A 10.
Wow.
A 10 in that.
Impressive.
Oh my goodness.
That's the most wind we've had all day.
I can't believe he just did that. I cannot believe he achieved a 10 with the blast of wind we just got. Amazing. Folks, I wish you could feel what we just felt. And Mr. Gupta, unfortunately, he probably sent it down the middle. That's where it got pushed to.
Yeah, pushed out to the 7 straight right.
All credit to Jack on that first shot. Let's see if he keeps it up.
Longer hold on this one.
Yeah, but sometimes he does that. It's a 9. And you know what? Whenever he holds long, high 9. I see it all the time. But boy, I'll tell you what, that was an impressive start. And another one out there in the, I have to adjust to this pretty quickly, or Jack's going to run right over.
He made an adjustment, but it wasn't enough.
Nope, not enough. Oh, Jack, you overcompensated because the wind died and he shot a 6 out the left. That's strictly overcompensation on that one. The wind died, it caught him out. Mr. Gupta with a 9. So, let's see, 4, 5 down, and Mr. Gupta with 5.
So the 10 was enough. The 10 was enough to carry him through on that one.
It got him. It saved him. He got the first set.
And now the wind's dead calm again.
I know that we had a big reaction to that, but if you felt, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you felt what hit us just as Jack had to execute that shot, you too would be amazed that he was able to put it in the middle.
Yeah, I was reaching to hold stuff down on the table. That was a pretty big gust.
That was literally like somebody coming along and giving you a shove. That was that severe and sudden. Nobody was expecting that. You know, oftentimes, I mean, we're wearing headphones as we are doing our reporting to our crowd here right now, but the reality, hear it before it comes.
Yeah.
That thing just snuck up on us.
Will be shooting first for the second end.
All right.
So it's
Jack has got himself a 2-0 lead. And the Team Canada players are cheering him on. Mr. Devang over there, Mr. Gupta.
Yeah, there are a lot of Canadian fans here.
There's a lot of Canadian fans here. It must be because Arizona is a place for Canadians to come visit
quite a bit
during this time of year. All right, Jack Williams of California and Devang Gupta of the Great White North are back in action, and Mr. Gupta shooting first on target number 2. And it's a liner, it's in, it's a 9 out the upside.
Yeah, it's considerable wind change from that last end.
Yep, 2 set point advantage for Jack Williams. Can he hang on to it? This would be his first Arizona Cup victory if he pulls it off, but it's not going to happen if he keeps that up. That's an 8. Mr. Gupta with a 1-point advantage in this set. And a 9. Wind has calmed down. Mr. Gupta is pulling it together. Mr. Williams is reaching full draw as we speak. And a 10.
10.
You know, a lot of Canadian talent has come to Arizona and done quite well. Of course, in the past, we've had Crispin Duenas here. And
another fellow physics teacher.
9.
Yeah, that's right. So treble 9 for Mr. Gupta. Mr. Williams
can win it
is going to have to shoot a 10. And not a 10, that's an 8. Mr. Gupta has tied things up. It's going to be a 2-2
draw.
And we'll go back to the original shooting order. This is not where I like to be. I like to be ahead in a situation like this.
Yeah.
I think I speak for just about anybody.
Well, that's the second in a row that Jack finished with a weak shot. So
2 set points each.
Yeah, well,
he's having a chat right now with his coach.
Oh, I have no doubt. His coach, of course, is Chris Webster, and
see if he can get it figured out. His first 2 shots in both ends have looked pretty good.
I'll say this about Chris Webster. He is going to say something that's going to be helpful to Jack. Yeah. He knows each of those archers. He's going to say the thing that person needs to hear at that time. So that's a big advantage to have.
Jack's had him in his box a number of, for a lot of different times, but also some of his biggest moments.
We have a 2-2 match for this next end. Jack will shoot first.
Yeah, there's very few people better to have at your back than Chris Webster in a situation like this. All right, here we go. We're back in action. We're back to the original shooting order. Jack's taking just a bit of time here. It's his way. It's a 9.
9.
You really have seen him do that a few times, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now Mr. Gupta with a 7 opening the door.
The shot was super quick.
Yes, it was, but maybe too quick.
Yeah.
Upwind side. Jack with a 10. It's a quicker shot, by the way. Did you notice that?
Yeah, definitely quicker than the first one.
Yes, it was.
The wind's pretty medium right now.
Yeah, but you can feel it. There's a 9.
9.
Look, I'm not going to say it's not a factor, but it's certainly less of a factor than what we saw earlier in the day. No question
Absolutely.
about that.
Those compound women had it rough.
Oh, Lordy. And a nice shot. 10 points. Jack seals it on that one. That's going to be a 4-2 advantage.
A lot more like the Jack I know.
And so there's an 8. So Jack is now in the position he wants to be. Whatever Mr. Webster said might have very well been part of the factor. Yeah. Jack looks relaxed.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like I said, the first 2 ends, he finished his third shot were both super weak shots. He finished this one with a really strong shot. So
big smile from Mr. Gupta up there talking to his coach.
Yeah.
He's looking relaxed as well. He looks like a happy guy. Anybody would be happy to be here.
Yeah, nothing's greater than shooting the gold medal match, right?
Hey, for 30 years, this has been one of the premier tournaments in the world. A lot of people forget that, you know, Arizona Cup is where the world would come. Back when we had it at ASU, well, if you were from Northern Europe, you'd want to come here just to thaw out, of course. But over the years, it became, you know, it was a world ranking event for many years. It's always had something special, and it's always been the start of the outdoor season. It's always been the kickoff for USAT.
And for me, it's my home field. I love it. It's one of my favorite tournaments.
Speaking of fields, you know, it's been here for quite a while after it left the ASU campus and came here to the Ben Avery shooting facility.
Correct.
Which is part of the state of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic place for all sorts of ballistic sports.
Yes, it's a point of pride here for this area.
This could very well be one of the finest facilities of its kind in the United States.
I believe that it is, and it's fun to have it in my backyard.
No doubt, and you're privileged to have it here, I can tell you, because more and more facilities like this are difficult to come by. Okay, Mr. Gupta starting to respond, not quite a 10, it's just out.
Just out, it's a good shot.
Yes, it was. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, he has yet to actually shoot a 10 in this match.
I believe you're correct, yeah.
And there's another 10 from Jack. So far in this match, Jack has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s. His opponent has none. It's the nature of set play. Normally you'd be rolled right over in a situation like that. And there's a 9.
Consistent for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, it's a good looking shot. Okay, a little longer hold there. It's a medium hold is what I'd call it. There's a 10. That was a medium Jack Williams right there. We can set an egg timer.
9.
999 from
yeah, treble
again.
9. Jack's going to close the door with this arrow. Anything in the 8 ring, and it is over.
Long hold.
Oh, yeah. Jack Williams shoots an X and has won the Arizona Cup.
10, 10, 10.
10, 10, 10.
Great shooting.
Or as a certain announcer used to say, 10, 10, 10. Nicely done. Nicely done.
All respect to Van Gupta.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He actually shot really consistent, really good shooting.
Debut
but,
appearance
it's
at
fun
the
to see
Arizona
Jack
Cup,
win.
gets up there, has a good time.
Yep.
But Jack Williams, talk about delivery. And we're going to get set to talk to Jack in just a few minutes. But before that, we're going to hear from someone that you probably know, and that's Tracy Otto.
Yes.
Tracy is on course to make her Paralympic debut in the W1 women's category after the first stage of the Paralympic trials qualification in some tough.
Yeah, she earned her slot in Santiago at the Pan American Parapan Games, and she's the only one in the trials. So, you know, things obviously have to play out officially
for that category, right? The W1
for the W1 women. Things have to play out officially, but for all intents and purposes, she's going to Paris.
Well, that's a fantastic outcome. So let's hear from her.
I mean, it was so much fun, but it was hard. The heat was definitely there, bearing down on us, and we worked through it, though.
What has been the preparation? Because it's been a long time coming. There's stage one, and then all of a sudden it's a gallop to the finish line.
Yes, it's come up so quickly. The biggest thing is working on endurance, making sure that we can get all 72 arrows sent down to the target as best we can, and training and making sure we're eating healthy and drinking lots of fluids and making sure we're in tip-top shape.
The journey over the last couple of years, and now we're here, 2024. I mean, this is Paralympic year. Does it seem quite real at this point?
It doesn't. Like I said, it's come so fast, and I'm just really excited that we're here and it's finally on the horizon and we're getting it done.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers are no longer California. Jack Williams, you are California.
Thank you.
All right, all kidding aside, Jack, congratulations on another big victory, this time the Arizona Cup, your first Arizona Cup victory.
Yeah, I've been coming here since I started, really. I mean, it was one of my first USATs, and this is really nice to be the first time winning it.
And, you know, this past week, of course, Olympic trials have been part of your experience here. Talk us through where things stand with Jack Williams as you head to the road to Paris.
First off, we're getting on an 8 a.m. flight tomorrow and going to Colombia to win our Olympic spots for the whole team. So it does not stop. No time to celebrate, really, just time to get back down to business.
Well, and the same is true of you, Eric Bennett. You know, there's more to do to get ready on your road to Paris. And, you know, Eric and I have been watching you shoot today. What did Chris have to say to you when you were kind of a little bit shaky at the middle of the match?
I wouldn't say I was too shaky. I mean,
you're right. That wasn't fair.
Yeah, that is not fair. I mean, coming out here shooting a 10 first arrow, I'm like, just as soon as I get hammered by a gust, I'm like, this is great. Let's aim in the 1.
That's all we could think about.
That was the biggest gust of the whole day.
This guy just got body slammed and he put it in the 10 ring.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I just went up there. I'm like, let's just guess 1 ring and we'll see where it goes. It's not going to miss right, hopefully, and then it hit right behind the pin on the last arrow.
All right, but what did Webster tell you?
He just told me, like, what did you do? Like, what are you doing? And I heard Doug say Sid the Sloth, because timing's a little long, so.
Well,
we didn't notice.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we kind of had similar. Oh, there's a medium Jack.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No, that was my biggest timing. Timing was what I was focused on. And in most of them, I would say it was pretty good.
Well, you know what? It was pretty good because you are here as the champion of the 2024 Arizona Cup. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to join me and Eric as we get ready to close this out. You know, fantastic event. Could have been a little warmer, but any other last thoughts?
No, I'm just really happy that this went the way it did.
We're really happy for you, Jack. All right, and we'll be back in just a few moments as we get ready to close out from another Arizona Cup. Well, that was a lot of fun talking to Jack up there and maybe giving him a little bit of rash.
Yeah, true.
We now have the short Jack, the medium Jack, and the long Jack.
Yeah.
That's going to be our new defining characteristic for somebody's shot sequence timing.
It was interesting that when he got hit with that big gust, he said he was aiming in the 1 ring.
Wow.
That's really, I mean, it makes sense because it was a big gust. And he put it right in the middle.
I don't care who you are, that takes guts.
Yeah.
That takes guts, self-confidence, and understanding exactly what's going to happen because, you know, I used to shoot with Butch Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Butch would tell me, okay, I know that if I hold past a certain amount, now Butch was, the string was coming off his fingers as he pulled through the clicker. It was kind of a race.
Yep.
Butch would tell me, okay, I'm going to aim here as my timing. You've got to have so much confidence to pull that off.
It's tough. Aiming out is probably one of my biggest challenges.
Oh yeah,
I shoot an aperture without a dot,
All right.
And so aiming off is always a challenge. But
Are you
especially
picking
with
a
wind
spot?
like that.
Are you
for
picking
sure.
a spot?
Yeah, so you pick a spot, and I work on it. And you know, being this is my home field, so shooting in wind is I'm no stranger to it.
Absolutely part and parcel of this experience.
But aiming
yes.
off can be a real challenge, especially when you're shooting for a medal.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we just had a fantastic series of medal events. We saw some of the very best in the world in the compound categories. We saw fantastic performance in the barebow categories. In the recurve, you know, that was a great way to finish up this Arizona Cup. That was just a great outcome.
We had 1-arrow shoot-offs and
nice enthusiastic crowd from Canada behind their competitor, Mr. Gupta, and Jack Williams, the California kid, pulling it out for
first
his
Arizona Cup win.
Yes, sir. And I would venture to say, possibly not the last.
Possibly not the last, absolutely.
And of course, we got a little information on the road to Paris. You know, one of the things that Casey Kaufhold mentioned is how much the American women's recurve have been improving.
Yeah.
And that is something that's really been nice to see.
There's so many young, talented archers in that top 10.
And you know, nowhere was that highlighted more. You know, I know we're talking about Olympics here, but nowhere was that highlighted more for me than seeing those two compound ladies in their final, age 19 and 17.
Yep.
There's your future for that category. You're looking at a brighter future than maybe ever in the last 20 years for women's recurve in the United States.
I don't know that we've seen it that deep.
No, that's the point.
Yeah.
Exactly, Eric. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The depth, the improvement in depth has been really good, right? I mean, back in the early 90s, we had some pretty good depth. You know, the Lindsay Langstons and Sherry Blocks and you know, Judy Adams and just other legendary shooters from that time period, but never did it all come together in one confluence at a level where they were led by somebody capable of beating a Korean woman at any given time, which is Casey right now. And her helping pull those other shooters along. It's inspirational to see that improvement. In addition to that, the depth of the recurve men. We saw Jack's performance today.
Yeah.
Brady, stalwart, so strong. And of course, so many other great shooters following in their wake, including guys like Jackson Mirich.
Yeah, Jackson's been fun. He's a local kid here too, and
Yes.
he's been fun to watch. He's really come on strong.
You know what's been impressive to me is seeing Jackson's confidence increasing and his score in lockstep with that confidence.
Yeah.
And so many others that, you know, I don't mean not to name guys like Matt Nofel, you know, just wonderful human being, by the way, right? Just one of my favorite folks out there on the field of play. And so many others. As that work continues, it is going to be a wider base for the pyramid that will lead to more success going forward. And that's the same is true in your category, you know, in your area.
We've got with our new coach, with Jonathan Clemens, is working really, really hard at recruiting and getting some athletes to come in, and we've seen a lot of new athletes come in, talented athletes, but also some younger athletes. I mean, it's no secret that our para team is pretty old,
right?
You know, and
but that goes through cycles. We've seen that in the past. You know,
Yeah.
your predecessors, guys like Joe Gregis and guys like him, they were replaced by younger shooters. They set the standard, right? Then newer younger shooters came in, the Mike Lukows and guys like him.
Yep.
And then, of course, you know, guys like you, and then guys like the kid that beat you today.
Yeah, Jordan White, bright future for that kid.
Yeah. And the cycle continues.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, you're on your road to Paris, and I want to thank you once again, my friend Eric, for
no problem
joining me today. You carried me through this.
No way. You carried me. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for letting me be here.
All right. And so, as we get ready to close out, this does bring us to the end of our live coverage of the 2024 AAE Arizona Cup, brought to you by Verona Real Estate Group and DataCore Fund Services, and presented by Win & Win. Competition continues until Sunday here in Phoenix, Arizona. Keep on usaarchery.org for all the latest news and results. And we will be back on the 12th of May for the next event in the USAT Qualifier Series, which is going to be the Gator Cup. So, until then, from myself, George Tekmitchov, and my color commentator, it is goodbye from the Ben Avery Archery Range here in Phoenix, Arizona.